Yo, listen up, Rue is stepping up the game, where fantasy Premier League runs in his veins. From transfers to captains, he's always on top, guiding you through every game week non-stop. They say Rue got that Salah flow. Welcome to the channel, enjoy the show. Wild cards, free hits with so much vibe. If you're hunting for success, then make sure you subscribe.
G'day mate, welcome back to the channel. I'm FPL Root and welcome back to another Euro 2024 fantasy video. So in this video, we're going to go through my transfer tips ahead of the round of 16. It is match day 4. We do get unlimited transfers before the deadline of this match day. Obviously, not all the games in match day 3 are over, so it means we're not guaranteed on teams that will be qualified, but I just wanted to pick a few players of teams that we either know have qualified or that are pretty much guaranteed to qualify. Obviously, even if we do know the teams that are almost guaranteed to qualify, we don't know their opponents. So I've put down who that potentially could be, what group they're in, what position they're going to be in, etc. And then I'll go through who that could actually be in terms of who's going to finish in them sort of positions. Obviously, it's going to be a bit of a guess, but I still feel like these players will be good options no matter who they face, as I do feel like they're going to go far into the tournament. First of all, though, I just want to say thanks to everyone that's been supporting the channel during this period, during the Euros. It's really helped. And yeah, if you wouldn't mind just pressing that like button and subscribing, it would really help me even further and help me to make more videos like this and continue it into the FPL season. First of all, we're going to go through the goalkeepers though. So first up, I've got Diego Costa, who's 5 million, plays for Portugal. He's going to be playing third in Group A, B or C. So obviously depends on how many points the third place teams get in this kind of in these sort of groups. So at the minute though, third place guaranteed in Group A is Hungary. Third place in Group B is Albania. And third place in Group C is Slovenia. Obviously, that could change. Hungary is guaranteed, though. They're definitely first because they've played all their games in that group. So potentially it could be Hungary. They did finish on 3 points. I'm not too sure whether that will be enough for them to get, I guess, into the next round. But we'll wait and see. Even if they don't, it's still a very good game for Portugal. And I do fancy Portugal to go far in the tournament. In terms of Diego Costa, Portugal have done pretty well defensively. They conceded in the first game against Czechia, but the second game they kept a clean sheet against Turkey, and he did make 3 saves and ended up getting a save point. And I think, to be honest, no matter who Portugal play, I do think they're going to go far. Their team is very good, and defensively they look pretty solid as well. Next up is Mike Maignan, the France goalkeeper. He's 5.5 million. He's going to actually play the runners-up of Group F. So that is a bit more, I guess, set in stone who he's going to play. And at the minute, Turkey are in there with 3 points. But Czechia have 1 point and Georgia have 1 point. Really, if Czechia beat Turkey, then they're going to be second. So it's basically going to be Turkey or Czechia. And to be honest, I do fancy France against any of them teams. And defensively, they have looked very good this tournament. And the defence is a bit of a joke, to be honest with you. You've got, like I said, the goalkeeper Maignan. They've got Saliba, Upamecano, not Kanate, Koundé, left back Theo Hernandez, and then in front of them they've got N'Golo Kante, which is just a cheat code. And defensively, they kept 2 clean sheets this season, this tournament, and he's got 2 save points as well, Mike Maignan. So really good goalkeeper, just a little bit more expensive than the others I've got on this list, but I think it's worth it to have that France defence. Another thing to take into consideration, they're playing runners-up in Group F, whereas Portugal, and I've got Pickford here as well, England play third. Obviously, they're going to have an easiest tie, you could say, on paper, but France are definitely a stronger defensive team than both of these teams. But we will talk about Pickford, who has kept 1 clean sheet in this tournament against Serbia in the first game, and managed to, I guess, still rack up a decent amount of points. He ended up on 4 points by getting 6 shots saved, which ends up being 2 points in the game against Denmark. Again, England do play DEF third. So DEF third at the minute is Austria, is potentially going to be third unless they do actually cause an upset against the Netherlands. Then potentially it could be the Netherlands or France. But it is looking like Austria in Group D. Group E, it's all to play for, to be honest. Romania are on 3 points, Belgium are on 3 points, Slovakia are on 3 points, Ukraine are on 3 points. So who knows in that group? And then Group F, like we said, is probably going to be Czechia or Turkey. But I still think you got to fancy France. You got to fancy England to do well in any of them games, considering the team that they're going to play will finish third, and England are one of the favourites in this tournament. Overall, I do really like these goalkeepers. I'd probably just wait and obviously see who they end up playing and what side of the draw they're going to be going on. Because for me, I think you want keepers from either side of the draw, so they don't kind of end up playing each other and knocking each other out. Obviously, it's a bit risky. You could argue that you want goalkeepers on the same side of the draw, and then maybe when it gets to the quarterfinals, even semi-final stage, they're going to play each other, and then you're going to have at least guaranteed one goalkeeper going into the semi-final and final. But for me, yeah, I'd rather just keep it separate. Then you potentially can have goalkeepers going up until the final. Overall, I'd probably pick the France goalkeeper Mike Maignan if I had to choose. Obviously, he's a bit more money, but to be honest, I don't hate Pickford or Diego Costa for the goalkeeper slot for a round of 16. Kind of, I guess, mini unlimited transfers, wildcard sort of thing. Anyway, let's get on to the defence. So now we're on to the defenders and some really nice value options for the defence. First up, we'll talk about Cucurella. He comes in at 4.5 million, and obviously he's playing in this Spain defence and who have looked very good, to be honest with you. They kept 2 clean sheets so far in their first 2 games. Cucurella also got on 14 ball recoveries in the game against Italy, which was another 4 points for him. He ended up on 10 points for that game, and then he got a clean sheet in the first game, ended up on 6 points. So really good start for him. He's playing left back, he's getting forward, and to be honest, I think he can be a very nice option going into the knockout stages. In terms of looking at who they're going to play, so third in Group A, D, E, or F. So a lot of teams to cover. So that's either Hungary, Slovakia, or whoever in Group E, to be honest, because it could be any team, and maybe even Czechia or Turkey in Group F. But for me, there's no need to worry about that. I think Spain are going to be solid in this tournament. They've looked solid so far. 2 clean sheets, 2 wins. And for me, Cucurella at 4.5 million, his attacking threat as well does look very nice and a very cheap option. Also got Mittelstadt, so it comes in at 4 million. I guess a player that a lot of us have actually owned so far in game weeks in match days 1 and 2 and potentially match day 3. First match day didn't do much. You got 1 point for ball recoveries, but the second match day you got a clean sheet, assist, and made 7 ball recoveries, which was an additional 2 points. Ended up on 10 points. And for me, Germany do look very strong. And they're going to be one of the, I guess, favourites going into the knockout stages. They're at home as well. Obviously, the tournament is in Germany, and they play runners-up in Group C. At the minute, Denmark are second, but Slovenia have the same points, and then Serbia also only 1 point behind. England do play Slovenia, so you could argue that, you could see England winning that game. Then it's just Denmark v Serbia, and basically, I feel like it's going to be maybe a draw or Denmark winning that game. So if it's a draw, you could argue that it's Serbia finishing in that position. But for me, runners-up, I think, would definitely be Denmark. So it's probably going to be Germany v Denmark, which is not an easy game, don't get me wrong, but you got to fancy Germany at home in that fixture. Next up, I wanted to put a Netherlands defender in there because I think they're so strong defensively. I know they haven't really shown it so far. They conceded against Poland, but Stefan de Vrij, I've got here, did get 8 ball recoveries, and then against France they did keep a clean sheet and he got 3 ball recoveries, which is an extra point, and 5 million he is as well, which I think is a very good price. A lot of people will be going for Van Dijk, Dumfries, Frimpong, Ake, but I do like to look at de Vrij. I think he's one of the best for ball recoveries. He's cheaper than the others, and for me, I think Netherlands defence is going to be one you're going to want to cover, even though they're probably not one of the favourites to win it. I still think they'll go far. They do play runners-up in Group E, which at the minute could be anyone. Like I said, it's the group with Romania, Belgium, Slovakia, Ukraine. You could argue that if they get Belgium, then that's probably a tough game, but potentially that could be anyone in that group. Belgium play Ukraine, so you could argue that Belgium are probably going to win that game, and then Romania plays Slovakia, which I think is an open game. They're all on 3 points at the minute, so it's all to play for. But I do fancy Netherlands to get through that game anyway, no matter who they play. And I think De Vrij is a very nice and solid option to go for. Maybe a bit of a differential over the likes of Van Dijk and I guess the more attacking options in Ake and Frimpong and Dumfries. And I really do like his ball recoveries. Overall, I think Cucurella and Mittelstadt are essential, to be totally honest with you, for, I guess, the round of 16. De Vrij, you could argue Van Dijk's better if you have the money, potentially. If you have the money, potentially Dumfries. But I do really like his ball recoveries, and I think he's very, very strong in the air. But let me know what you think in the comment section below, and let's get on to the midfielders. So now we'll move on to the midfielders. So we'll start off with the highest points scorer in the game. He's got 23 points. He's the highest goal scorer in the whole tournament with 2 goals. He comes in at 8.5 million, and his name is Jamal Musiala. What a tournament he's had so far. Like I said, he's got 23 points, 12 points in the first game. Obviously, minutes played, clean sheet, a goal scored, and 3 ball recoveries, and also a player of the match. Match day 2, clean sheet, goal scored, 3 ball recoveries, and match day 3 he did blank and didn't get any goals or any ball recoveries with 2 points. But he's still the top goal scorer in the game, and yeah, for me, he is essential going into the knockout stages. As I've mentioned, for Germany, they're probably going to be playing Denmark, which I do fancy them to beat and go through. They're also at home. Musiala is a massive, massive goal threat. You could argue, if you did want to save money, to go for someone like Gundogan, who I do think is good for ball recoveries. He does get assists and goals and potentially on penalties, but I think the safer, more attacking option is Musiala, so that's why I've got him in this. Next up, it's not a safer attacking player. It is N'Golo Kante, and what a tournament kind of he's had so far. And I feel like he's just reminding everyone that he's still got it, even though he's in the Saudi league. He's still got it, and yeah, for me, he's been one of the, I guess, standout players of the tournament. Like I said, so far, alongside Musiala. First game, obviously played 90 minutes, clean sheet, 9 ball recoveries, and player of the match. Second game. Played, clean sheet, 2 ball recoveries, player of the match. So yeah, he's on 15 points so far, and he's still got Poland to play, and for 6 million. And obviously he plays runners up in Group F. Like I said, should be Turkey or Czechia. I think France are going to go far, and I think having players like N'Golo Kante from now, I think it's a smart option, because I think you can leave him in right until France go out, which I think will be probably the final or semi-final. And yeah, we know he can get ball recoveries in these tight games. He's going to be getting a lot of ball recoveries, to be totally honest with you, a lot of potential for man of the match. And for me, where there's going to be tighter games, I think these defensive-minded midfielders can come in handy, and I think Kante is the best at the business in this tournament, I think, personally, in terms of ball recoveries, and it's kind of just made for him. So I think 6 million is an absolute steal for N'Golo Kante. Next up, we've got Bukayo Saka. So I guess not been amazing so far. England haven't been amazing, but he did get an assist in the first game against Serbia, blanked against Denmark and came off after 69 minutes. But I think going into the latter stages, I think he's going to turn it on. And at 8.5 million, I think I do want to go in with a England midfielder, whether that be Bellingham or Saka. But I do feel like Bellingham potentially could drop deeper going into the latter stages of the tournament, whereas Saka, you know he's going to play on the right. The only kind of replacement for him is Jared Bowen, and I can't see that happening, Saka being dropped for Bowen. So Group D, E or F, third place for Saka, as I mentioned with Pickford. That could be anyone from Austria to Slovakia, Belgium, Romania, and then potentially Czechia or Turkey. So yeah, Saka, I think, is a good player to go for. If you can afford it, would I go to Bellingham? I don't think so. I think Saka is more attacking. I think Saka has more opportunity to score goals and get assists. You could argue that Bellingham probably has more opportunities to get ball recoveries, but for me, I'd rather go for the goals and assists on player if there's an option. For example, with France, I don't see there being an attacking midfield option, so that's why I think N'Golo Kante is great. But overall, I think these midfielders, especially Musiala and Kante, are probably essential going into the round of 16, and I probably wouldn't look elsewhere in terms of France midfielders or German midfielders. Anyway, let's get on to the forwards. So for the forwards, obviously you're going to notice there is one player missing. It is Kylian Mbappe, and to be honest, I don't think I need to talk about Mbappe. I think everyone knows kind of what he's about. Everyone knows that he's one of the best players in the world, and to be honest, just get him in if you don't have him for in your draft for the round of 16. But I just wanted to give three other options that I feel like are almost as good as him. Obviously, Mbappe hasn't actually shown his worth so far in the tournament. He in Matchday 1 he got an assist. Matchday 2 he didn't play because of the broken nose, and then he hasn't played in Matchday 3 yet. So yes, Mbappe is a great option, but I just wanted to give a few other options to go for because I don't actually feel like Mbappe is fully essential. I probably will end up having him, but I did want to give some other options, and we'll start with Morata. So again, not the best tournament for him so far. He's got a goal in his first game, blanked in his second game, and obviously I haven't seen his third game yet, but he comes in at 8.5 million, which is a bargain. He's going to play third in Group A, D or E. I won't go through it again as I've already mentioned it, but like I said, Morata for Spain, he's going to be starting up front. He's actually looked okay. I think he does miss a few chances, but I think he's actually a good striker, and I think that Spain midfield are going to create a lot for him going forward. They scored 3 against Croatia in Matchday 1, and had a tougher game against Italy, so it will be interesting to see how they do get on against Albania. But I do feel like there will be a lot of rest in this game, a lot of rotation because they are guaranteed to finish top of their group. So I think Morata probably will get rested, but it'll be interesting to see whether his replacement does come in and do well, and then potentially take some minutes from Morata. But I think it can be a nice differential to go for, and he's only 7% owned as well, which I think is a big deal, and a big differential going into, I guess, this knockout tournament. Next up, we've got Cristiano Ronaldo. It comes in at 10 million, which is a lot cheaper than Kane and Mbappe. Portugal have looked pretty good going forward and defensively in this tournament so far. 1 clean sheet, but in terms of Ronaldo's, I guess, fantasy output, he's only got 1 assist, which you could argue is a bit worrying. But for me, I think Ronaldo scores big goals, and I think knockout football is where he's going to end up thriving because he hasn't really done it in the past in terms of knockout football. And for me, I think this is his last chance to win a trophy. I've been saying that for probably the last 2 tournaments, but I think this is his last chance to win another trophy with Portugal. Obviously, they did win the Euros a couple of years ago, well, about 8 years ago now. So, and I do fancy Portugal to go through to the latter stages. Like I said, though, third in Group A, B or C, so they do play a third place team, which I think is a big factor in picking these players. And Ronaldo, for me, is going to be starting for Portugal. He's going to be on pens. You could argue that there is a chance for him to come off early, but we haven't seen that so far. And for me, you just got to go by what you've seen so far. And yeah, for me, Ronaldo's definitely a player I'm going to look to bring in for the round of 16. Next up, Harry Kane. There's been a lot of talk about Harry Kane recently from Gary Lineker on different podcasts. For me, Harry Kane builds into tournaments. We've seen it year on year. He starts off slow, builds in. He does the same when he was in the Premier League. He started off slow. August, he never used to score in August. I remember for years and years, Harry Kane never scored in August. And then by September, October, November, by the time he hit Christmas, he was scoring goals for fun. And I feel like that's how he is in tournaments. There was obviously the World Cup a few years ago where he won the Golden Boot, and he ended up scoring a hat-trick, I think, against Panama. So I think that's an exception to the rule, but normally he does build into tournaments, and he still got the end of a goal, and he should have probably had another goal in the first match, where he did miss a header. Well, it wasn't really a miss, it was a good save, to be honest, and yeah, Harry Kane, 11 million, going to play third place in Group D or E or F. I think England will go far, and I think Southgate is going to tweak the system and play someone with pace around Harry Kane, maybe Anthony Gordon, which I think will benefit him and will benefit him in terms of attacking as well, his goal scoring, his even creativity, having someone to play in when they're running in behind. I know when he played with Heung-min Son that he kind of thrived off Son running off the back, Kane dropping deep, him playing in Son. So for me, I can only see positives for Harry Kane, obviously on pens as well, and I do think England will go far. So that's why I've gone for him. If I could choose a front three, I probably would go Kane, Morata, and Mbappe, because I think Bruno Fernandes is as good an option than as Ronaldo for Portugal. So I would end up choosing Bruno Fernandes over Ronaldo. But I think they're all good options. Whether you wanted to go for, I guess, Ronaldo instead of Bruno Fernandes, and then maybe drop Morata out and put someone like Rodri in, or drop Kane out and put Bellingham in and double up on that England midfield. There are so many options to go for, and there's not really a right answer, but I'd love to hear what you reckon in the comment section below. So drop a comment, I'll reply, and we can have a conversation in there. So please like the video, it does help out a lot. And subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'll be making content right up until the final. And obviously when FPL starts, we'll get into the swing of that and start, I guess, helping you create your teams for that, what players to bring in, etc., etc. But hopefully you've enjoyed the tournament so far, and I appreciate all the support on the channel. And yeah, good luck for the match day.